Hudson. Sherelle. Stephen. Love you, Sherelle. NBC. Jeremy. Hey. Dr. Tatum, I was running late. Just got your message. We'll call you after the broadcast. Murphy, Shayla, Bree. Let's get in here. Hey, Shy. Robin, Rejoice. Otis. Jametta. Can't wait. Had a blessed day, Kathy. Hope you did. Dr. Doldrin. Come on, let's get in here. Shirley Wiggins. Bain. Hey, Minister Amy. Peaches. Lil D in the house. Lil D, did you sign up to be in service on the 20th? You need to sign up. Oh, you signed up. Okay, cool. Can't wait to see you on June 20th. Brother Sullivan, Sister Shirley. Krusty. Mr. Connie. Lady Connie and Joe. First Lady Cousins. Bubbles LaRue's in the house. Sister Katrina. That means not too far. Reverend Gooch. St. Green. Mavis. Okay, little D. Can't wait to see you. Yeah. Minister Ebb in the house. Crystal's in the house. Hey, Crystal. Come on, guys. Let's share. We stopped doing that. Let's share, love, subscribe. Tamisha, welcome. Heel Ward. Cara in the house. Cara, I'm calling you tomorrow. Got good news, everybody. You know, Cara joined NBC. Cara came to Team NBC. Let's give her welcome, Cara. Cara came to Team NBC. Hey, Big Daddy. Cara joined on Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, guys. Let's give Cara an amen and welcome. Everybody, let's give Cara amen. She joined the greatest team in the world. Katisha, hey, Pumpkin. Let's give Cara a hell yeah. Okay, maybe not. I'm sleepy. Okay, come on, guys. Dr. Austin's in the house. Come on. Cara's in the house. Ardenia's in the house. I can't wait to see people personally. Let's welcome her. Tell her, yeah, hugs go up. Linda's in the house. Can't wait to see you all. The closer it gets, the more nervous I become. How about it? To the greatest church in the world. Cara just joined the greatest ministry in the world. Tamisha's in the house. That's right, Katisha. Talking about, heck yeah, you know what you're saying, girl. Katisha talking about, heck yeah. All right, we're going to get ready here in a moment. Robin, you shouldn't have repeated that. Hey, CJ Pumpkin. Robin. I'll be calling you tomorrow too, Robin. All right. I think we got things going on pretty good. Hey, Kim, I missed you. All well? Okay, when you don't speak, when you don't log in, you know I get to worrying. No, I got to quit speaking in Ebonics. I said, worrying. Ain't no such thing. I was watching some of my film the other day, and I noticed that when I get excited, I use poor English. I'm going to stop because I do know how to speak the King's English very well. But when I get revved up, oh my gosh, things just go awry. Oh, see, I miss you. I saw that beautiful fish. Are fish beautiful? Okay, I saw that beautiful fish you caught, but you threw it back. That could have made some great nuggets. But we'll talk about that some other time. I'll tell you what to do with fish that you catch. Jazz, I'll get you tomorrow. Come on, guys. Let's give a couple more minutes, and we will be moving right along. Okay. We're going to start with our announcements because, okay. All right, Kim. Thank you. Thank you. Love that. Love the information. We're going to start with announcements since I had a low success rate in you guys opening up your emails and opening up your weekly announcements. Okay, let's see here what we have. Hey, Onisha. Welcome. Nisha's in the house. All right. I'm ready for the announcements.
Good evening, NBC.
Oh my God, just read the announcements, girl. Hey, Jonathan. One of my engineers told me wacko.
These are your evening announcements.
Louder, I don't know.
2021, the year of navigation. New Birth Community's vision continues to be implemented, born to praise God and serve His community in mind, body, and soul. The Pastor's Appreciation. NBC, as you know, every year during the month of June, we celebrate our Pastor's Appreciation. This is the 18th year of our pastor's leadership of this, our thriving church. And to commemorate this year, let us give Pastor Merritt $180 per member.
Or more.
That's in the next line.
Okay.
You may use Pastor's cell phone number or email to Zelle or PayPal her those gifts. Please do not feel limited to $180.
Good.
In 1 Timothy 5:17.
Okay, BJ.
The NIV says, the elders who direct the affairs of the church well are worthy of double honor, especially those who work in preaching and teaching. Release your blessings on your house through this gift to Pastor, because she is certainly fertile ground.
Woo!
So there is harvest when you plant with her. We love and appreciate you, Pastor Merritt.
I'm glad you do.
To God be the glory.
Yes.
June, homecoming service registration. As announced during the May Town Hall, registration is required to attend the June homecoming service, taking place the weekend of June 19th and 20th. You may register on the link that is in the midweek announcements, or if you visit our website, nbcame.org, and you select members only and go down to member feedback. There you can register for in-person service. New NBC t-shirts. Orders are being accepted for the new NBC t-shirt. The t-shirts are $22 a piece and are available in men and youth sizes. Payments are being accepted via PayPal and Cash App. That's Cash App is NBC AME. So when purchasing your t-shirt, please complete the following questionnaire to ensure the correct size is recorded and your payment is properly recorded. And that's for anyone who has not ordered your t-shirt up to this point. You can do so on the same website. Prayer call. Each and every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have prayer call where we call upon the Lord corporately together in fellowship. You are all free to join us. You can call into the number. That number is 336-663-0110. That's 336-663-0110. And the access code is NBC AME. Spell it out on your phone. That's NBC AME 622263. You can also email your prayer request to lordbless@newbirthcommunityame.org. Next, we have virtual Afro-Caribbean dance class. This is next Saturday, the next dance class is June 5th at 4 p.m. via Zoom. Class is hosted by Sister Megan every first and third Saturday. You can see that link in your midweek announcements, or you can check our website and our calendar for this and other exciting events to come. Next up, our future home of NBC. So we have a new process for submitting and evaluating potential property locations for our church's forever home. Please use the link, which is also on our website. That lovely website. There's so much information there. You don't want to miss it.
Yes.
Yeah. And fill out the requested fields to provide our leadership team with the property information. If you have any questions, if you have questions about the specificities, about what we like, about what areas, all that good information, you can contact Sister Hillary Ward, who's the NBC Structural Support Director. Her contact information is in the member directory. That's where? On that website.
On that website.
All right.
Yeah.
So also remember that we have agreed to touch and agree and pray at noon for our forever home, in which we will start having service prophetically in January of 2022. To God certainly deserves the glory. There are many ways to give. You can give your tithe and offering, bless your house by drop-off coordination with Sister Katrina Gooch. You can also mail in checks. You want to make sure Sister Katrina knows they're coming. You can also give via PayPal or Cash App. More information about those giving types are also on that website.
That website.
Yes. Those are your announcements for the day. If you have any questions, please contact NBC News at nbcnews@nbcame.org.
Thank you, Jessica, for those announcements. Now, you know what's really funny is you all are commenting to these announcements, but I don't even think you're listening to it. You're just listening to her voice. Make sure that you go back and read your announcements. Oh, that's great. Thank you so much. Took the time out to do that. Let's jump right into the Word. Let's delve and see what the Lord has for us tonight. Let's have a moment of prayer. Lord, bless. Let's talk about privilege today. Can we have some exchange? I want to talk about privilege. So the third idea that we recognized in one of the challenges of David and his godly wisdom was the fact that he was privileged. Now, I want some definitions of privilege. I want you to throw some definitions of privilege up there tonight. Some definitions of privilege. Demetria, Kanisha, hey, I saw y'all come on. Hey. Okay. All right, heard and received. Come on. Give me some definitions of privilege. Spelling. Some definitions of privilege. Okay, Khadijah, good. Things handed to you, good. Reverend Dawn's in the house. Hey, Rev. Entitlement, good, Benita. Special right, good, Kathy Hudson. Good, CJ. Reward without work. Good, 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 Kanisha. Good. Advantage. Good, Mrs. Hobbs. Good. Ooh, good, Demetria. Having little challenges. Good. Specialized treatment. Good, Otis. Good. Praying for you, Dion. Thank you so much. A special right, good. Okay, so I think that everybody has an idea what privilege is. I want to talk about privilege and how we overlook it, possession of things not earned. Good, the First Lady Cousins. One of the things I want to talk about tonight, I want to talk about how we are all privileged, but we none recognize it because of how we view and the perspective of that privilege. I mentioned Sunday that one of the downfalls of being privileged was abuse of power. Another downfall was the blame game. I also want to go into that really in detail tonight. and not being responsible for saying, remember those three things: responsible / consequences. Okay? When we're privileged, the privilege rarely, because you've seen it on TV, you've seen how money buys you out of situations or buys you into situations. You've seen the college scandal, and that's gone forth with these kids getting into certain schools and having their way paid, and those are advantages some of us don't have. And there are some students that had the qualifications but didn't have the financial advantage. So oftentimes we think of privilege as money. We think of something money could buy. I want us to recognize as privilege is something else tonight, all right? And we recognize that if the consequences are not high enough, then we don't become responsible for our actions. How many of you believe that? How many of you believe that? How many of you realize that there would be a lot less crime if our system had began making the consequences or the disciplines or the punishment more rigid? Okay? I remember a story my grandma told me, and I love bringing in those stories, that when someone does something wrong to you, you take it to the extreme the first time. I mean, you take it to the sheer extreme the first time, so they'll think twice before they do it again. And I know we turn the other cheek, but it doesn't mean do not bring it to their attention. When you feel wronged, you take that and you sit someone down and let them know immediately what you're feeling and how you feel about that certain subject matter. All right? And even if it's at cost of losing their relationship or losing their friendship. See, sometimes we cannot hold people accountable because we're afraid of loss. Write that down. It's difficult to hold people accountable because we're afraid of loss. So the consequences seem steep, but in the end, they're beneficial. David was not held responsible because he was used to winning. And the people knew that his heart was right. So there was a lot of things that caused him to be able to maneuver, as well as being king, out of certain situations. There was no consequences, all right? Then there was the abuse of power. Go get me what I want. That's right, Pulp Fiction, that's good. Angela, that's great. Go get me what I want, you know? Even as a child, you shouldn't disrespect children. If you tell a child, because you know that's what children are to me, they're to do all the running around and turning at the TVs that, you know, I don't want to turn. You know, they're to go get things, go get this, go get that. But I never not say please or thank you. See, that's privilege when you don't say please or thank you. Go get me that remote. And then the child go get you the remote, and then you just take the remote. When you don't say please or thank you, that's the abuse of power. Okay, we're going somewhere because some of you are privileged and you're acting privileged in the negative way. All right, and then the third, of course, privilege and a sign of privilege is the blame game. I want to talk about the blame game just for a moment because that's one of the ones that stands out as well. When David did not realize what he had done by transferring his responsibility onto Uriah. Okay, let me know if you remember the story, because we've been on this story a whole month now, 4 weeks. You should have the story down to a science. 2 Samuel, the 11th chapter, the story of Bathsheba, Uriah, and David. Okay? All right. Now, I want you to raise your hand if you think that you are privileged. Hey, Paris, I love you. Raise your hand if you think you're privileged. Privileged people don't take responsibility, and they use the blame game. It's never their fault. It's never their fault. It's never their fault. I didn't do it. And I did it because of blah, blah, blah. I did it because he did this first or she did that. You have total control. You have total control of your actions. Now, some of you are raising your hands and you say, yes, I'm privileged. I'm privileged. But tell me, in what manner do you see that privilege? In what manner do you see that privilege? How do you see your privilege? Because after the feedback that I got, that after I did the message on Sunday, the feedback that I'm getting was that David was such a horrible guy. Well, the key is I see the horrible guy in a lot of us. why it's so important. It's just how you view who you are. I see that horrible guy in quite a few people in quite a few areas, even in my church. Sometimes we're just so used to getting the things the way we want them, we're not looking at how it allows us to look or how we move from that point. We do realize that privilege allows us and causes us to act out. Write that down. Privilege causes us to act out. One way or the other. One way or the other. In a minute, I'm going to stop talking and you all get to go for what you know. That's good, Shy. You can go for what you know. Now, privilege can have you act out negatively, okay? Now, we know in the story of David, I brought a twist to the story. I brought the twist that Bathsheba rejected David's advances. Most people would think because he was king that she would do what she had to do, if you understand what I'm saying. But because she rejected his privilege and his proposals, it led me to believe there were so many circumstances behind this story that David was finding it difficult to appreciate who he was as king. What are you saying, Pastor? I'm saying go to the text, go to 2 Samuel 11, and find when David sent for Bathsheba. Out of all the story leans to 2 lines. Bathsheba's story leans to 2 lines. Let me know when you find it. Pull out your text tonight, children, because this is nothing but story now. You got the concept. Hey, Latoya. Now, the heightened aggression of David's privilege leads to the negative action of him constructing a plan to have Uriah killed because of the one act caused by his privileged behavior. Now, I want you to write these scriptures down because I want you to go and read and see why I say that. In the 16th chapter of Judges, 16th chapter of Judges, when I go and skate through or read through this tonight, I just need you to get an understanding. You find the story of Samson and Delilah. All right? And we find that Delilah was sent for. She was requested. Delilah had a reputation. And everyone knew her reputation. She was one who could do the job. Several times they tried to bring down Samson in Judges, but Samson could not be brought down until they sent for a sister by the name of Delilah. My favorite character. Not my favorite book, but my favorite character was Delilah. Because Delilah's strength was in her tongue. Whoa, we'll talk about that later. The ability to talk Samson out of his strength. And they clearly do. They sent in a hitter, a ringer. They brought in a ringer. Do you understand? So what you find in Judges 16, you find history. All right? You find occupation. You see, they make her come alive. They even deal with what she looked like. You see what I'm saying? So there's a lot of narrative on Delilah. Because Delilah had a package. There was something that was going to lean to something else. So they gave you something to let you feel like, oh, I know a Delilah. Or, oh, I could understand why he did that. Or if I was there, oh, yeah, she was a good looker. I know why he did that. That's narrative. See, I don't want you to think that narrative was what Delilah said. Narrative is what the author said about Delilah. All right? So what we have is some substantial, in Judges 16, some identifications of who Delilah was. Who was Delilah? Where did she come from? How did she walk? Did she have thick lips and round hips? Who was she? Was she buxom? Did she have a big butt? Was she brown skin? Was she green? What did she do? Why was she renowned? See, that's narrative. Yes, that's narrative. Mm-hmm. And then we go to John, the 4th chapter, with the woman at the well. We find out she has a past based on when Jesus begins to speak to her, her past based on what? Based on the narrative that he communicates to her about. And what is that? That's about her past. That's about the people she had been with. That's about the man that she had entertained, so to speak. We find out where the woman at the well, who is nameless now, but we find out about her character. Yes, where she's from, why she's there at that time of the day, who told her to be there, what did she come for. We have all that type of narrative, all right? And then we go to the 4th chapter of Joshua, a sister by the name of Rahab. We find out who she is and where she came from. She was an old hoe, and what she did and how she hid the spies. Then we figure out where her house was located and why the spies knew where she lived. Because they used to, okay, you don't want to know what I'm saying. They used to frequent there. What? So they tell us what she did through her history, basing also what she does for them. Now, let's go to 2 Samuel 11. Privilege. It's imperative when we exude or execute our privilege, we try to figure out who we do it over. Write that down. See, what are you saying, Pastor? I'm saying some people think they're great fighters when they're fighting something that's not up to their standard. Yeah. So if I would see a 13-year-old, and I would see that 13-year-old doing something wrong, and I would just go over to that 13-year-old and wail 2 pieces all in their head. And then I'd go around like dun-da-dun, dun-da-dun, like I had won something. But because it is unequal, the privilege of me knowing that I can conquer that leans to my weakness and not my privilege. Sometimes those of you who use your privilege in the wrong areas at the wrong time identify your weakness better than and more than what? Your strengths. I'm concerned now because this great leader has shown me his weakness. He didn't even know it. This leader has shown me his weakness. And you say, why, Pastor? Because there were already 7 wives already living in the castle. He had the presence of the nanny. Oh, come on now. You act like you don't understand what I'm saying. Can I say nanny? Okay. He had the presence of nanny, so it wasn't about nanny. No. Sometimes privilege shows up when it's not physical. Sometimes privilege shows up when it's pain. There's something going on with David that he's not really ready to talk about. So he gets up. He's used to conquering. Now remember, he's a conqueror. He didn't just hit Goliath with a rock. No, he slew Goliath. He wasn't not just one who played a little music on his iPad. No, he was a writer. He was a performer. David was an accomplished musician. All these things. People loved David. People chanted David. People loved to see David coming. Flowers. It's like, Eddie Murphy's Royal Penis. You know what I'm saying? Coming to America. They loved him. But there was something that was overlooked because of his privilege. Sometimes people say, I can't wait to be a power couple. I'm going to be a power couple. I'm going to be a power couple. Well, what I told you Sunday was this. In the power couple, what you don't understand is they marry for political reasons and to maintain wealth into the family, right? And so to maintain that wealth, all of the relationships that David had were void of relationship. They were contractual. So there was no relationship. And that's why the first wife, Michal, that's spoken of, if you read and do a little bit of your history, they find out that was David's favorite. He favored her. But you can't find her written about because she couldn't bear children. And because she couldn't bear children, they gave her no value. But I tend to lean it was his favorite because it was the first one that he thought that there was a relationship involved. Yeah. And so what happens here, we find out that power couple that you're trying to be means you don't have time for each other. because you're too busy grinding. Power couples don't have time for each other, but they have time for enterprise. And so there's a concern now, because now the privilege has gone outside of what you thought it would be. And so when we're dealing with privilege, we're dealing with the downfall of privilege, not the upside of it. Everybody recognizes the upside. Everybody wants to talk about, I'm a married girl who has this and a guy who has that, and together we're going to walk off into the sunset, and years later you're going to walk off in different directions. Because there is no foundation of relationship. And so now he sees this woman bathing where women bathe. She didn't just set that shower up. It wasn't a porta potty. It's where people bathe. And he sees her, and all of a sudden, the man in him thinks, I too can have that. Privilege says, I want what I want, and I want what you want. I want what I have, and I want what you have. Okay, the reason I'm saying it like this is because you all act like you all have never done this. Come on, as children. You give a child a toy, and you have a toy, and that child looks at your toy, and it looks at his toy. And it looks at your toy, and it looks at his toy. And then that child walks over and snatches that toy from your hand, and then you try to teach, no, you've got one. Well, can I have that one? And that child looks like, no, both of them are going to be mine. Yeah. See, it's in us all. And see, when we begin to point fingers at David and say, oh, he was such a horrible guy, I want you to understand that horrible guy rests in us all. And if we don't recognize how to control what's inside of us, we need to control one thing and not another. We need to know who we are in Christ and how we to use the privileges that we have. We're not using the privileges of God the way he wants us to use them. We're not recognizing that we have 24 access to the most powerful thing that ever was. We're not recognizing that. And so what we tend to lean toward is those little things. We break the law to get little things, but all things are ours in the first place. We do little things. We nitpick. It's like the mosquitoes in the jungle. They're going to kill you before the lions will. Hey, First Lady Evans. Hey, Phoebe. It is imperative that we recognize that the privileges that David was showing would come natural to any of us had we been exalted. Had we been lifted up? Had someone put us on a pedestal? That's why pastors are doing what they're doing in the pulpit, from the pulpit to the pews. You know what I'm talking about? Because when people are elevated and you give them too much applause, too many things that they're not working for, then they begin to act. Privilege causes us to act. How you act is up to you. Yes. What do you do with your privilege? Two types of privileges. Write them down. What are the two types of privileges? Two types of privileges. Go back to your notes. Should I say them? Because we don't have a lot of time. Two types of privileges. Let me see. You better watch who you applaud for. You might be their prey. Two types of privilege. This is why all the time people, oh, pastor, it was a good word. It's good. I say, well, tell me, what was my word about? People like homiletics. People like the sound of preaching. I want people to pay attention and change their lives. What are the two types of privileges? Stephen says to deserve it, and you owe me. Good. What are the two types of privileges? That's good, sir. Indeed. Okay, come on. Deserve it, you owe me. That's right, Shy. Way to go, girl. That's good. Good listening. Okay, what are the two types of privileges? I'm giving you time to write it. Because this is called Bible study. I want to make sure you get it. Two types of privilege. It's got to be easy now. Y'all just type what somebody else wrote. Y'all so smart. Let's do a little cheating. It's the lady. That's right, Minister Amy. I would have copied and pasted if I were you all. Can you copy and paste on the computer? Okay, good. Two types of privilege. So what we find, earned and unearned, good, Mrs. Hobbs. What comes inside of us when we believe that we're privileged? Because of the narrative that society teaches, it always leans toward things. privilege leans towards things. And when privilege leans toward things, things come and things go. And so the only privilege that I have that supersides the privilege of being spoiled, as the world's definition, is the privilege to know that the entity, the Word of God, His presence will never fail. It will be with us forever. And so while you're working trying to get things, I have the creator of things. And so while you're walking and you're running around and you're flagging and you're profiling, all those things are beautiful but I want you to go beyond that. David was having difficulties because he was not going beyond that. His privilege had put him in a box. His privilege had put him in a place that a lot of people don't recognize that they're going. And if no one brings it to your attention or no one brings you and pulls you on the carpet, you can go there too. You know, it's like when you go into an office and you don't speak to the secretary because she's the secretary. Because she's so beneath you. What are you thinking? The Bible says that what you do to the least of them, you do it unto me. So if you're not speaking to her, then you won't speak to God. See, the application of the word is so simple. And so what we've done was we've created a society of I'm better than you because I have more stuff. And see, that's how we define privilege. But what really was happening is there was a fallacy, there was a missing, there was a longing in David's life. I've got another twist. So privilege is faith? Not all the time, Jazz. Not all the time. But it can lean to being faithful. I've got another twist. You ready for this twist? Can I just theory, son? You played me Sunday. You said theory. This is my twist. This is my twist. My twist is, hold my hand, I'm finna step out there. David knew who Bathsheba was. Oh, this might get me thrown out of the church. Okay. Yeah, it is okay. David knew who Bathsheba was. Why you say that, Pastor? Because he knew she was a good girl. Other women had bathed in that same spot. Okay, you're missing it. Listen, look at this twist. Look at this twist. And she knew what kind of wife she was to Uriah. Everything that he lacked, she was. And the story takes a twist. His relationships lacked relations. But there was a woman who was married to a loyal soldier in his army that he had seen. Theory. I haven't read this. Theory, but look at this now. Out of all the women that went back and forth, it was Bathsheba. The fact that the writer didn't give narrative to Bathsheba leads us to believe that she was without blemish. She was a good girl. She was faithful. Because they didn't tell us where she came from, who was her father. They didn't do any of that. No lineage whatsoever. But they gave the lineage to who? Uriah the Hittite. They didn't tell us if she was a Hittite. They didn't tell us anything. Which leads me to believe he liked what he saw because he wanted what he wanted as well as what Uriah wanted. Sometimes our privileges open us up and let others see what's really inside. If every time you see me, I got to buy another bracelet, I got to buy another diamond, I need diamonds. So then I begin to relate my wealth or my value to the things I have versus who he created. There's something happening in this story that's not making me at rest. I'm finding out here, David is peering at a woman that just had to have bathed there before. In a body of water that people had bathed before. Look and read. I'm going to show you something. When David sent for Uriah, how did he send for him? Come on, scholars. I'm going to show you something. I'm teaching you how to read the word now. Forget a soap opera. This is so much better. This is so much better than a movie. Show me in the text when he called for that guy, he said that guy who married the girl bathing, who did he call for? He called for who? The Hittite. Is that what it said? Read what it says.
So David sent this word to Joab, send me Uriah the Hittite.
Stop. Come on now. He didn't ask for identification. He knew who Bathsheba was. Read it again. Listen to the reading. Listen, guys. Listen, I'm looking at them. I'm talking to you. Read it again.
6. So David sent this word to Joab, send me Uriah the Hittite.
Start with on verse 1. Listen to this.
Start at verse 1?
Uh-huh.
In the spring.
Starting at verse 1.
Oh.
2 Samuel, 11th chapter, verse 1. Listen to Ardinia. This is for you, girl. Listen to this part of the story. Go.
In the spring, at the time when kings go off to war, David sent Joab out with the king's men and the whole Israelite army. They destroyed the Amorites and besieged Rahab. But David remained in Jerusalem. One evening, David got up from his bed and walked around on the roof of the palace. From the roof, he saw a woman bathing. The woman was very beautiful, and David sent someone to find out about her. The man said, "She is Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife."
Okay, now we have history. Now we have history. Go ahead.
The wife of Uriah the Hittite. Then David sent messengers to get her. She came to him, and he slept with her.
Stop. Okay, now see, what happens is, now he said, I'm sending you out to find out about her, because her I've seen before. And the information that was brought back said what to David? The information that was brought back said what to David? This is what I want y'all to recognize. Stephen identified. He walked around the roof knowing exactly where to go. So he had seen the bathing women before. Very good, sir. He knew on what side of the palace to gaze. Oh my goodness. I'm telling you, what's happening here is, if no one can help you identify some things that you're doing, then you don't become responsible for your own actions. Because people, it's like, it just so happened, I don't know why I was on that side of the, no, you knew what side the bathing pool was. You had seen her before. You had identified her before. Come on, guys. What I'm trying to get you to understand is, when we don't own up to who we are and what we're doing, we become destructive to ourselves. But we want to blame somebody else for our destruction. The fall of David was David's fault. But then he couldn't forgive himself. And he died a bitter old man. I want to get you to understand today, you don't have to die in the shape that you're in. No. You don't have to lean to that surly behavior. I want you to understand that the privileges that you have can be directed in the right source. The privilege that you have. And that privilege is I can go to God in prayer. This is the concern. Sometimes we don't know, and this is what the spiritual parent is for. The pastor of the church, your chief shepherd, is to help you identify, well, where am I going wrong? What are these concerns? And even if you don't come with those questions, a real shepherd will help you identify some good and some bad. Because we're none without struggle. We're none without challenges. And it's important that you continue to work on you. David had been celebrated so long, he had coronations for every occasion, that he thought he was what? Perfect. And we're none perfect until we see his face. David thought he would boo-boo gold, but that's not true. That's not true. And so what's happening is that all these cumulations come together. And David is now thinking this was a happen chance. When in actuality, what was it? Premeditated. Good God Almighty. You know what? Why? Because he had dreamt about it. Come on, church. Hey, come on now. I'm just saying. Theory. What happens when your privilege gets out of control? What happens when you think you deserve what you're getting? Oh, it's mine. I got here early, So does early mean you have privilege? I don't understand what that's. Who begins to identify your privilege? Do you identify your own privilege? Do you have different privileges at work than you do at home? Who gives you the green light? See, the people gave David the green light. Why? Because of the coronation and the cheers and the jeers. After he slew Goliath, he could do no wrong. He was anointed by Saul as given to the word from God. Yes, it was already ordained, but not the behavior that came from his privilege. And sometimes our behaviors and our actions are not indicative of the blessings that God has placed inside of us. And so we're all blessed, and we're not using those blessings accordingly, because it is my belief that the mentors and the teachers and the apostles and the evangelists are falling down on their job and are throwing up hankies and hooping and exalting God, but not teaching us how to live a holy life. I'm telling you, it's time out for all that. It's imperative that you understand your positioning in the Word of God and how you're supposed to live. Now, granted, it won't stop you from sinning, because you're human. But it should slow you down and make you think this thing through. God loves me and he'll never leave me. So since I know he'll forgive me, I'm going to act out. Or God loves me and my sinning and my acting out, because he loves me so dearly, I won't do it. See, there's two sides to every coin. And you all have to decide on what side of the coin you're going to live. I'm not mad at David. Why? Because he killed himself. When you can forgive you for your actions or your behaviors, and God has already forgiven you, you die a slow death. And I don't want your privilege to be used in a way that can draw your life short. I want you to know that the privilege of being able to come to God is just that, a privilege. No appointment necessary. You ain't got to wait for 3 weeks to get in, 24/7, and he will answer prayer. Yeah, that's so churchified. Why are you saying it like that, Pastor? I'm saying because some of you would rather ask your girlfriend about marriage, who's been married 3 different times, than you would to call on God. Because it's easier to talk to somebody that you see. But I'm telling you, the more you pray to God, the more you talk to God, the more you'll see God. You'll see God in the way you move. You'll see God in the way you handle situations. You'll find out there's a peace. Quit looking for things the way others people see them. You know? God has never spoke to me audibly. If he would, I'd probably run through a wall. I don't know. I don't want him to. I'm okay with how he comes to me. You know? I don't want to hear no voice in the middle of the night. Kathy, unless I'm married and it's my husband. I just don't want that thing going on. Okay, no, that's too much. Okay. So what I'm saying to you, what I'm trying to get you to understand is there's a privilege that's offered you that I don't think you're accessing. I don't think you're, because you're too busy in the woe is me. See, it's easy to use privilege when people are hollering out your name. But it's not as easy to use privilege. It's not as easy to use privilege when you're the underdog. Or when you think you're the underdog. I said Sunday that children don't know how to lose. They're not taught to lose. I don't mean taught to lose. They're not taught to do what to do when they lose. Is what I meant to say. Is what I was trying to get across. And so you're not always going to win. And the fact that David had some enemies and some of the things he couldn't conquer, he took it to his grave and then he passed that to his son Solomon. And we found that in 1 Kings, the 2nd chapter, verse 9. I don't want to be on my deathbed recognizing that I've carried something that was not mine in the beginning because I'm so used to winning. Some of you are carrying stuff, some losses that you should have left a long time ago. Chalk it up, baby. But you're on your deathbed. You're on the corner somewhere slobber. You don't even remember your name, but you remember your enemies. What a sad way to go. And I'm telling you, the privilege that God gives us and the godly wisdom that he gives us inside leads me to believe as your teacher, as your preacher, as your pastor, to let you access that. Access your godly wisdom. Access the fact that you can override some of those concerns. Access the fact that you're stronger than what comes before you. Somebody needs to teach you you're stronger than what's set in front of you. All you have to do is, you shall reap if you faint not. but you will not reap the benefits. You will not reap the wins if you give out too soon. And so what's happening here, David wanted what he wanted. It's okay, it was customary for the king to want what he wanted. But it is unbelievably sad to find that he was dying, still worrying about a loss. See, ain't no such thing as the one that got away. Oh, hell. I'm sorry. Do you know there's no such thing as the one that got away? Do you know there's no such thing as there's this one person on earth for you? What do y'all... Turn off the TV. Call me here. Quit crying over spilt milk. Do the best you can. Live a godly life. Let people see his light in you and then move on. Yes, work your way through it. It's possible. You are stronger than that, and he's stronger inside of you. What are you saying, Pat? I'm saying that there are things that came out about David through his relationship with Bathsheba. There's more of a relationship with Bathsheba than any of his other wives. And the only one they mention more of is Abigail. And you'll read it and figure out why with that later. What are you saying, Pastor? I'm saying, use your privilege wisely. Access him. Quit going to the wrong source. It's inside of you. You don't have to go anywhere. I see some of you opening up the yellow pages. They don't even have yellow pages anymore, do they? Mm-hmm. Some of you get on that search engine and you look for everything but the right thing. Do you know you don't have to be in the you don't have to be in the throne room to access God? Just call him. Just call him and lift him up. It's simple. All right? What are you saying, Pastor? I'm saying some of you are privileged and you're walking around like paupers. Like nobody loves me, nobody wants me, I'm going to eat a worm. You know, cut that out. You're privileged. He's inside of you. The power that you have, the godly wisdom can override desire. The godly wisdom can override privilege, can override fear, can override anxiety. That is why it's called godly wisdom. It's inside of you from birth. And I'm telling you right now, there were some things revealed about David that he did not override. That he would have been a better king had he. Can you be a better brother? Can you be a better sister? Can you be a better mother? Can you be a better friend? Can you be a better employee? Can you be a better auntie? An uncle? Can you lead by example? Can you be a benefit to society? Can you recognize that some things that you could have gotten involved in, but you kept saying, no, I just don't want to be involved in. No, I need you to step up to a plate. I'm talking to 3 people out there that there's some leadership qualities in you, but you're not dealing with them because you're dealing with the woe is me side of you owe me. You owe yourself. Get out there and grind. Get out there and get it. Get it. It's to be gotten. It's inside of you. 3 leaders. If you've been identified and you know it's inside of you and you know you slept rocking, wowsy, whoa. If you know you dragging your feet, if you know that there's something great in you and you don't think, well, I don't have the qualifications, oh my God, I need you to identify yourself because you're privileged. Say, I'm that one you're speaking of, Pastor. I'm that one you're speaking of. If you believe it's you, I'm going to be quiet and Dr. Tatum, you better run. You are Dr. Tatum. No one can take that away from you. You're Dr. Tatum. I am privileged. I'm the one you're speaking to, Pastor. Put it in there. And don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed. Don't look around like, what if other people don't see it in me? Put it in there. I'm that leader that you're talking about. I am that leader you're calling from. 3 of you out there. I am she. I am he. Hey, Kevin, I am that person. I want you to tell me right now. I am that person calling forth. I raise my hand. Here I am, Lord, send me. Dr. Taylor said, I am she. Move in it. Come out the dark. Come out the dark. Come out the shadows. Quit fading to black, Dr. Tatum. Come on. Come forth. Anybody? I am she. Nicole, don't be ashamed. Nicole says, I am she. I am she. Okay. Teaching children. I'm the one. Robin Jackson said, I'm the one you're speaking to too. Okay, Robin Jackson says, I am she. Phoebe says, I am that person. Benita says, I am that person. Come on now. You all come out. Use your privilege. Come out. I am that one. I'm talking talking about. Okay, Mavis, get out there and do something. I'm out there. Out there. Be out there. Out there. She said, I am she. Good, Rochelle. It is I. Good, Katisha. Kanisha, good. I am she. Cara, I am she. Don't be ashamed. Answer the role. I am privileged. I got it going on. He'll never leave me or forsake me. He is the wind beneath my wing. He is the hands in my back that pushes me when I can't go any further. He's the air that I breathe and the food that I eat. He's my everything. I am he. He is my strength. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens. That's who I am. I am she. That's right, Arlinda, you are. Selena, it's me. It's me. It's Peaches. I am he. Stephen says, it's me. It's me. That's right. That's right, Dr. Doldrin. I am she. Yeah, it's privilege. It's how you look at it. What the hell is a silver spoon in the first place? I don't need a silver spoon. I've got God. He created silver and gold. I am his wealth pocket. Hey, Sherelle, I am the one. You got it. I think you got it. Kim and she. Y'all got it? My time is up. And you know how it works. I really thank you for you spending your time with me. Get back with me. Holler at me on Sunday morning at 11 o'clock. I'll be here in living color, looking to expound upon another word with you. I am so glad that you're here, and I'm so glad that you get an understanding. The privilege is not always to the king. Sometimes it's to the servant. Can you do it? Can you believe that? Can you walk in it? Privilege leads to what? Action. Act like it. I don't have to go to Martha's Vineyard and ask those folks to act like they rich. What? Okay, I ain't gonna say nothing. I don't have to go to the Bentley dealership and ask those people to act like they rich. When they pull up the lot, I don't have to ask them. Because privilege leads to action. Now you decide which action it leads to. My time is up. I thank you for spending yours with me. I love you, Sherelle. I love you, Kim. Love you, love you, Mavis. Love you, Shirley. Love you, Miss Hobbs. Love you, Rochelle. Yes, indeed. Hey, it's all over me. Bye-bye.